Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to replace the sealed lead acid battery in your UPS. Now this UPS I purchased somewhere in the region of about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's basically never been touched, so it just gets on, does its own thing. Been very happy with it indeed, but it is coming up to that time where the battery probably does want replacing, even though it is appearing to work fine. The batteries do have a limited lifespan, generally somewhere between 3 to 5 years, although if you've had one which has lasted considerably longer, let us know in that comment section. We're always happy to hear from you, to hear your experiences. But because this is basically kind of supporting my NAS and all the pictures and stuff that is on there, I don't want the NAS to crash because of a power outage, which, to be fair, we don't get that often here anyway, which is probably why this thing has lasted so well. So today is the time to replace the battery. The battery itself only costs somewhere in the region of about £20 from amazon.co.uk. Of course, we'll put links in the video description so you can check out for yourselves. If you want to do some proactive maintenance on your UPS devices, that is entirely up to you. Or if you just want to watch this just to see if I mess anything up, then that is also great as well. I think first of all, we should take a look actually on our desktop computer. So I've actually installed the software. This actually has a USB output, so you can get data from it, etc, etc. You can see the status, etc. So anyway, without blathering on too much, let's have a look on the screen and see what's going on. So here we have the PowerPanel Personal. That's easy for me to say. And it says here the UPS is working normally. So current status, it's on AC power. It's putting out 239 volts, which is normal for the UK. Input is normal, output is normal. Remaining battery capacity is 96%, so it seems to be still doing a really good job. Currently the battery is charging, so it does appear to get up to somewhere near 100%, so it probably doesn't really need changing, but I feel that it is getting to that time where if I just leave it for a few more years, I'll just forget about it and it'll never get done. And also this software only works when it's connected to the desktop PC. When the NAS is connected to my UPS, the data goes straight into the NAS, so the NAS gets very limited information other than things like your device has switched to battery backup, that kind of thing. And also recently that has been causing a few issues. It's been saying that the UPS is not connected or that it can't see one. So I thought it was a good time just to give this a little bit of a service anyway, reconnect it all, put a new battery in, and hopefully it will continue working as it should do. So as you can see at the moment, the remaining battery runtime, 31 minutes. And actually, if we do a bit of a test on that, I can unplug it from the mains and we'll see if it continues working, which hopefully it will. And there we go. You've probably heard the beeping. Hopefully the software is going to update shortly and say what is going on. There we go. So yeah, it says the battery capacity is only 80% currently, which is a little bit disconcerting. Oh yeah, 50%. It's dropping very quickly, so I'm going to quickly turn that switch back on. And we'll go back onto mains power, hopefully. There we go, I've heard it clicking. So yeah, it dropped a massive amount of percentage. So that is a sign that although the battery is displaying good battery capacity, it's discharging really, really quickly. And it's only running a laptop at the moment at about 60 watts. As you can see there, the load is only 18%. Now the NAS isn't the only thing I normally connect to this. I also connect my wireless router, my switches, the telephone system, so that if there is a power outage, at least the telephones and the internet should work in theory. Yeah, so it says that the remaining battery capacity is 90%, so capacity is good, but it doesn't seem to be wanting to hold that charge for any length of time. So I think it is time for this battery to be changed, even though it does look to be okay. So with that said, let's go back to the UPS itself and we'll take it apart and see how easy this is to do. Okay, so there is the device turned off, everything is disconnected, and now we want to take it apart. So there is just a couple of screws on there, I think. Yeah, 3 screws on there to get the battery out. Like I said, we've already got a battery as well, so that's great. And what I'll do is I'll get the camera in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So to get inside, I think it's going to be a PH1 screwdriver. And there are 3 screws to remove. All pretty straightforward stuff. Hopefully you can see this well enough. Unfortunately, being a big black box, the camera doesn't always like focusing on things like that. So that should just slide out on it. There is another screw there. There are 4 screws in total on this particular device. And yep, push that out and lift it away. So you can see inside there, there is the battery. It doesn't appear to have any signs of any damage or any obvious swelling. At least not that is obvious. There's a couple of marks there. I think that is just from this section here where it pushes it into place. So what we need to do is to lift the battery out of the unit. And that is actually really difficult to do. Looks like that wire is catching on something or is rooted inside. So that isn't particularly easy. Yeah, that is in a super awkward place. I've actually never tried to take this out, so I'm glad I've tried it now. So there is the negative terminal, and there is the positive terminal. So all we'll do is just to wiggle that terminal off. It's actually really easy to do, he says, joking. I'll take off the positive one, that should be a little bit easier. That really doesn't want to come off of there. There we go. It does require a quite a considerable amount of force to get that off. And the other one, hopefully, is going to be a little bit easier, but it's in a very awkward place and there's almost no slack in the cable at all. So what I think I might do is get a small screwdriver, or actually something plastic would probably be ideal if I can find something. So I've got a spudger tool. Let's see if we can use that to coax that off of there. Yep, there we go. Obviously, don't use a metal object just in case you accidentally short something out. So there is the old battery. And if we get the new one, and it should be identical, pretty much. It's got some plastic covers over there to keep the prongs nice, and it looks like those prongs are actually a little bit smaller on the new one than they are the old one. I don't think that's going to make a huge amount of difference, as long as they physically fit and latch into place. So let's give that a go. Put the old one out of the way so I don't accidentally put the wrong one in. I think I'll do the negative terminal first, because that is going to be a bit easier to get to, he says. Actually, I'm going to look see if there's a way of rerouting that cable. I don't think there is. Yeah, there isn't any slack on that at all, which makes this job a lot more difficult than it actually needs to be. Yeah, you can't really get it in close enough. There we go. That one is now attached. So now we can plug in the other one. And that seems to be on there fine. And we can persuade it to go back in. And just tuck the wire in. There is actually a little channel that you can go into. So there is the battery in its enclosure. A little bit trickier than I would have liked, and seems to be pretty sturdy in there, so that's great. And I'll put the panel back on, and then we can attach the 4 screws back. So we've got one in the middle, at the bottom edge, got one at the top edge, and then we've got 2 on the far sides. So yeah, it does require a little bit more dexterity than I would have expected. The negative connector is very, very short indeed. So let's turn it back on. We'll plug it back into the wall, and hopefully we don't get any magic smoke. And press the power button. And I'd imagine it is going to be extremely flat. And it appears we have absolutely nothing. And turning the mains on, and we don't even get a battery charging light, which is odd. Right, okay, I think I see what has happened. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this or not. So it's actually hard for me to get the camera to show, but it does look like the negative terminal has actually become disconnected when it was plugged in. See the spade connector on the back? Just behind, where are we? You can just like see the spade connector. You can see it shining silver just above the red connector. So it looks like I've messed it up. So I'm going to take the battery back out and try and reconnect it again. So there we go. The unit is now up. We've turned it back on. We've got the laptop plugged into it just as so we can see it on the screen. And yeah, we're on AC utility power, 239 volts or 236 volts. That seems to be fluctuating a little bit. That is a good thing about a UPS. It isn't just a battery backup. It also smooths out the voltages as well from your incoming main system. So if you've got a PC and you're getting random crashes and you can't really fathom out what is going on, chances are if you're using some sort of wall socket, you might need to get a surge protector. And if your data is valuable, then it's probably worth getting a UPS. They are relatively inexpensive. You don't have to get one with a USB connection like this. You can get very simple ones which cost very, very little money indeed. We've actually done a review on one of those previously, which I'll try and link in the video description. That was a gift from our good friend Skystalker. Excellent UPS. Doesn't have USB, which is a bit of a downside for NAS use, but for everything else, it's absolutely fine. So let's try turning off the mains, and hopefully this will remain on. And yeah, it's gone on to battery power. And what we're looking for now is to see if the battery power drops down very, very quickly, because last time it dropped down to sort of like 60% or 80% very, very quickly indeed. And it seems like it's still on 90%. So last time when we did it, it dropped very quickly down to 86. So there is a little drop there, but that isn't horrendous. Still giving us over half an hour to be able to kind of shut down our system. Yeah, that seems to be a lot better. Yeah, that does seem to be holding, so I'm pretty happy with that. Generally, when we have power outages here in the UK, they are very minimal. It's just like a brief clip on and off, so it's just to smooth out that power. It's very rare we get outages for more than a minute or two, maybe a couple of minutes. Should be fine. So let's turn the power on, or simulate the power being turned back on. And there we go, we're back on to mains power. So there you go, there has been how to change the battery on the UPS, and also some of the struggles and problems you can find going along the way. Yeah, the battery terminals, that was one that I didn't think of. Battery size and shape was something which I was very concerned about, and I did do my due diligence to try and make sure that the battery was exactly the same dimensions, but I didn't take into account the actual connections, and that's actually quite corroded on there. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, smash that like button. If you want to see more content of this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe, and if you do that, don't forget to hit the chime notification. That way you'll be notified of all video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.